Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Sunday. Hopefully, you have a good Sunday going on so far, and welcome to another stream. So for today, I wanted to show a little bit of well, let's call it discovery, at least on my part, that I've been doing, and namely is kind of centered around this larger landscape that I want to try and test out and to use. One of the, let's call it a little bit of frustration was that when I was trying to paint the landscape, because I ended up changing the shader to my shader. The other one was had a pretty high complexity, and I didn't really feel so much, for how it looked. So now, kind of this is the same landscape shader that I had um, before, with some of the kind of the slope type of settings that I've had as well. Uh, made a few changes to it so that way, this particular kind of slope dirt, so to speak, blends in a little bit better in the distance, and just kind of tweaking the distance blending for that. But the one of the kind of as I'm trying to you know, I have to repaint this to kind of match what I previously had, just to kind of make some of the paths and some of the roads and, kind of the patches where the trees grow. Um, One thing that I was running into for, from a timing perspective as well, was trying to paint something, and then if I wasn't happy with it, undoing and painting again. Um, and with the setup that I had at the time, since it was just one sole landscape, one sole map, um, that file was, maybe 400 to 500 megabytes big. It was large, and of course, I think when undoing a change, it would have to like process that and took forever, especially on my machine. So what I try to do, um, I've converted this map to world partition. And now, if I paint something, like say I paint mulch, where on the mulch layer is where my trees are going to grow. So let's say I paint this. Now, if I undo Control Z, it takes literally just that, and it's it's a huge like a the map itself. It's like a 64 square kilometers map that I'm only going to use maybe 4 to 5. So pretty small size of that is what I'm going to end up using. But now I can actually paint it and not run into this issue where if I'm not happy with the change, I need to undo it. Along with the world partition, kind of came a few things to consider as well, because the world partition does not have, like with what I've had in the past. It doesn't have levels, or not in the sense that we go into the levels window and add levels to the list. But what it does have is what they call a level instance. So you can drag in this little actor. So let's actually drag in another one, another level instance. Now, I wouldn't say an issue necessarily, but the only thing different with this is, from what I can tell, is that wherever you place the level instance actor is where your level is going to load. So let's add in that instance world section that we had. Let's see, where did that get placed? Um, let's try this out. So one thing also, whenever you bring this in, you would have to right click. You see the actors down here, but you can't affect any of them. So you would have to right click and level and edit. So once you do that, I'm not sure why this happens, this kind of like a grayish tint of kind of affecting the lighting. But at this point, you should be able to select the actors, and there you go. They were actually under the map. So now you can select each one of these and make your changes. And once you're happy with the changes, um, you can just right click on this and commit it. The other thing you can do is if you want to transition all of these actors into your main world, you can right click on it and let's see, I believe you have to break them first, and once you break them, it kind of removes them from that level instance. But for now, I'm just going to keep them in the level instance, and so I have a little bit of a better control. Um, and yes, as you can see, this one is placed like so, and it's a little bit, I wouldn't call it confusing, but I'm not entirely sure why the pivot point is here. That this part I don't really understand. Um, so let's just, what I'm going to do is let's start from start fresh. So I had these two level instances in here, and I'm just going to remove them. And let me also remove these foliage actors. Not sure how they got stuck in there. Oh, and along with that, what I've noticed is actually a pretty big performance increase. At least at this point, I'm still testing it out, but it the performance increase is just really nice to see, like 80 frames per second. And like the draw calls is probably not going to change much, but I think the big thing for me was one, being able to paint the terrain really easy and undoing changes. And two, how fast the level loads. The level loads much faster than before when you had to load, a 500 megabytes file. And along with this, what brings, I can commit this to GitHub because I use GitHub for like repository. So I can commit that to GitHub, um, where unless you use like a large file system, I believe is what they call it. Your biggest file you can commit is like 100 megabytes, and a level that was 500 megabytes you could not commit. So now this being broken into smaller bits, you can easily commit it, and that's probably why it loads so fast. Okay, well, so let's add that level instance. I have like a level instance for the lighting. Let's add another level instance. Yeah, so like I said, placing it here, and then let's load that facility level. And it is really snappy in loading these levels in. I think it's faster than when you added it via levels. All right, so yeah, as you can see, it's placed over here. So I'm not entirely sure what the purpose of this is. I mean, if I change it to 0 and 0, will it place it where it was? It kind of seems that way. Let's do 0 here. Okay, yeah, so I guess that's how it should work, apparently. That's good to know. So whenever you drag one of these into the world, one of these level instances, if you already have your previous levels placed in a location that you were happy with, right? So like take my example. Um, I've transitioned to this bigger map just from like the point of, you know, um, scaling, and the other map felt like kind of underwhelming, especially with the edges of the map. Hey, Gitish, welcome, welcome, hello. So I've transitioned to using, trying to use this map, which definitely looks a lot better. It gives a sense of scale much better. Um, and now trying to use, world partition for it and loading all these other levels in via the level instance, it seems to work really well. I'm still going to decide whether I transition all these level instances into the world partition and kind of benefit from some of those, um, some of those, um, so I don't have to deal with the streaming of the levels and all that. It's kind of automatically done for you. So I'm still gonna explore some of that. But yeah, let's bring in, so I have this one here, and let's duplicate this, and I thought there was a way you can duplicate. There was no way in here to duplicate it. Oh, interesting. Well, let's just drag it up, and now let's select the instance area. This one. Yeah, so there we go. Once you set this back to 0, it should place it where you originally had it in the world. As you can see, like if you remember from yesterday, everything was placed around here. And yeah, there you go. It actually, um, uh, you know, uh, from a performance standpoint, I'm quite surprised, even though I'm not sure if the draw primitive calls is it's kind of high, but that doesn't translate into it affecting the frame rate that horribly. Much it seems to be much better than before. So I'm still exploring some of this, but we'll see how it goes. All right, let me hide some of the stats. I think so far, from what I can tell, I'm quite happy with how it works. And what I was planning on doing for today is kind of repainting some of this terrain and running through um, some foliage generation to add some of the foliage in and see how that works. One thing that, yeah, it's going to be a little bit time consuming, and I'm not sure if there's a way to do it, is transferring the information from the map that I previously had onto this new map. So basically, kind of where the roads are going to be somewhat simple, but everything else, I might leave that to up the change. Yeah. So Gitish, how are you today? Welcome to the stream. What time is it where you are, by the way? Okay. So let's get to doing this. And I do like the level instance, kind of just from a aspect of uh, managing this list, just grouping things up a little bit better. All right, so this one I'm gonna name this the score facility, and then this one is the um, industrial instances. There we go, just to kind of know what's what over there. Okay. One thing that I also wanted to add is just so that I can, copy and transfer things over, is going to be that map. And I think there's quite a few of them named map, maybe not that many. Let's see. That's interesting. It filters somehow on what? On its type or on the name? But anyways, let's. I'm just gonna find it through the browser, the content browser. All right, let's see. So we have this map. There we go. It's right here. Okay, so there we have. This is the kind of the original map that we've started with and we were looking at. And I've already. Let's kind of remove or at least hide some of the vegetation. And where is the terrain? Oh, I think I've hidden everything. So let's just select the vegetation. Oh, my bad. I forgot to um, go to level and edit. Why not? That's a new one. Let's see what's going on. Yikes. That's no bueno. What just happened? Oh yeah, this is the odd thing with this. I'm not entirely sure why everything just uh, changes color like that, but there we go. Okay, so this is that landscape that I'm, kind of trying to follow best I can. But with this, once I've hidden the vegetation, at least I can kind of trace, I wanted to trace the roads mainly because after that I can kind of sculpt the terrain around it. It's pretty random anyways. So let's get the roads in, or at least, some of them. And then another thing that I wanted to show is you can also paint uh, the landscape using masks. So like I was showing you before, where the sculpting you can actually use like a stamp. You can also do that with the painting part of things. All right, so let me go back in here and this level instance. Yeah, and see, this is where I don't really get why this is turning into that when I select the level instance and it's under edit. But okay. Yeah, so let's commit that change where I hid the trees, and now I'm just gonna go back into my main landscape and go about sculpting. Yeah, like I said, I've already added one of these roads, and now I just want to try and match some of the other ones as well, because that those are gonna help with the sculpting. All right, let's see how that works. So manage splines. Let's turn on hints. I'm going to try and start here. So we're not going to be able to see it just because this other landscape is above it. But if I drag it up, there it is. I'm going to try and just place it right alongside the other one. The only thing with this is I'm going to try and place the points at kind of separate intervals, just because they're you might be able to select the other points from the other landscape. But so that one's not necessarily odd. I kind of get it, but so I'm just gonna try and add this road along here as well. Let's try and lift these up and line them up best as I can. I wish there was a way, I haven't looked this up actually, if there's a way to copy these splines between landscapes. Now that I'm thinking about that, let's give that a try. So this is the initial landscape. Yeah, so see, you can say move to current level, but oh, you know what? So I'm wondering if I can try doing this. So this is my landscape. Nope, that's yeah, let's not mess things up too badly. I'm not entirely sure if how that would work. Um, unless I break down the level and transfer everything over into this, which shouldn't be too bad. Let's do that. Okay, so I'm gonna try and select all these control points and see if I can delete that section there. And now let's go back into one. So this is kind of the map, the original map. And level. Now, before I do this, let me try and kind of just make a quick copy of this. All right, so I created a copy of this map just in case. And now this one, we want to, I believe it was break level instance. Yes, I'm okay with that. Let's see how long that might take. Thankfully, there's not that many actors in here. Because I still want to keep some of these like cliffs that are around just for reference and kind of sculpting around them. You know, like for example, there's this little bridge. There's another bridge onto the other end. Let's see. Let's see. Hopefully, this is gonna. I've never done it before, so I have no idea how long things might take when doing something like that. Oh, still going. Ah, there he goes. Something happened. Finally. Okay. Well, so now this map is in the kind of the um, world partition map, so to speak. And the main reason that I try to do that is now that I can select this landscape easily, I am hoping to, not sure if this is gonna work, but let's see if I can select these control points and they move to current level. Not, did that do anything? Not entirely sure. Let's um, select this landscape. And since this is broken into pieces now, let's do it like that. So this control points move to current level. I'm not entirely sure what move to current level, where is it being moved? All right, so um, let's try and hide this landscape. Yeah, doesn't seem to do anything. I have no idea what the what the reason for that is or what it really does. But you know, we have this as a reference, so we can just do it the normal way. Another thing that actually I haven't tried is going into here and let's select all the control points. Um, I know there's probably no click of the right click for these, but is there a copy? And now let's try and switch to landscape 1 and paste. Yeah, I don't know if that would do anything, but we'll try it out. All right, let's try and hide this. Yeah, it didn't do anything. Oh, import and export landscape data. I actually haven't tried this one before, so let's see. What would this do? Import from, oh yeah, it's a, um, oh, actually, let's try something. Let's try exporting the landscape data from the landscape. I think this one was landscape one, right? That's the big one. Let's try this. So landscape one is part of this, all right? And let's unhide this guy, and this is just landscape. All right, well, let's go into landscape editor, and we're gonna try and export the landscape um, as a height map file. The only thing, what I'm hoping that it's not gonna happen, we'll see how it goes. Um, so I'm gonna export this, okay, for original. Um, I'm hoping it's not going to overwrite the existing landscape information and only add it to this area. That's, we'll see. We'll see what happens. All right, let's jump back into and select the other landscape one and import file. And let's give it this one and see what's going to happen. Okay, so it's all the way over there. I think it's where that one is overlapped with. I haven't tried this one before, so I have no idea if this is this import from an existing landscape in the world into this landscape, if it's gonna do anything. Let's see. Well, hey, look at that. It actually did what I was thinking it was gonna do, or and hoping. So perfect. That's a quick way of doing things. The only thing is that how do we make it so that we don't have this blown out type of scaling? Let me try and maybe bring it lower. Let's look at it from the side. Oh, actually, what is it? Alt H. And I'm gonna try and position it, at least in my hope, around here. And import it again. Hey, UD Arts, welcome. Oh yeah, I think that kind of made it worse. How do you set this so, oh, you know what? This is definitely something that has to do with the height map, I would think as well. Let's take a quick look at that. Yeah, I think the height map, it's not necessarily very like blown out. Um, you know. Hey UDR, so the game is actually just like the name of the stream, on your own. And yeah, because it's something that I've been working on my own. And um, it's a single player, first person shooter, action adventure type of game. Um, just story based. It is to in this 2 by 2 kilometer area, because working it on myself by myself, I can't really set it up in too big of a world. But the way I have it intended is to be in like multiple parts. So kind of this is going to be a part one with the first initial, player being dropped into the world, kind of discovering what was going on, interacting with NPC and getting some of the missions. And then part two would be, uh, getting access to some of the rest of the world. And, I guess it depends on how the first one is gonna do. If that one's gonna do, if hopefully, you know, well, well enough, then then I'll definitely do a part two. But you know, because right now there's no like budget, timelines, or anything like that. So this is outside of my day job, in my spare time type of work. So hopefully, did that answer your question? I was speaking a lot. Well, thank you. I mean, again, today it's not um, it's not a typical stream, so to speak. It's also kind of a little bit of discovery that I've done yesterday with the world partition and kind of importing existing levels into it. I'm actually from Romania. Where are you from? Oh, hey, welcome, welcome. What time is it there, by the way? I've been trying. I have friends in India that joined the stream, but and I've been trying um to do these streams a little bit earlier so that they can join as well. I know the time difference is is a pain sometimes. Yeah, and I think that's what's tough when it comes to game ideas. Oh, 9 p.m. Okay, that's perfect. So I'm guessing, starting the stream at 11 a.m. Uh um might work out for other people as well. Uh yeah, and it's tough, to find people to what did I just do? I've kind of botched this whole thing up over here apparently. Let's see if we can not smooth. Automatically adjust landscape vertices with an X and Y offset map to improve vertex density on cliffs, reducing texture stretching. What does I've actually never used retopology to be honest. Yeah, I guess it doesn't help in this case. That's a bummer. Yeah, and that's what's tough when it comes to um, having a great idea. It's you know, and having the ability to find people to work with you on that. It's always hard. Because I've had friends asking me about stuff as well, and between work, kind of the work around the house, it's tough to find time for for other things as well. Well, I mean, there's definitely better people out there that do teaching. I'll tell you this much. Um, I do have a few tutorials on my channel, but what I usually suggest to people, especially when they're starting, because there's a lot of people that are I if you're just starting out, there's a lot of people that just try to like jump into the deep end of the pool. And I've had a lot of people that I've tried to help, but they don't know how blueprints work, but they want to make a Call of Duty type game. So, and this is blueprints talking. This is blueprints that I'm talking about. I'm not gonna go into like coding or anything like that. So what I usually recommend, there's a lot of channels on YouTube that have, that they do this full time. They don't have a day job, or this is what they do. They make money off of this. They have Patreons. Um, I mean, this is their day job. Not that they don't have a day job, but this is their day job. So um, what? And actually, I'm just gonna load this real quick because I don't want to deal with all that. What I would suggest is going through their channels, because they do have like series of tutorials. They start you and they actually explain things really well. How to get started, and you know, uh, they literally start you from this is how you open the engine, basically, almost. And going through those tutorials, you definitely will get your feet wet, so to speak. Um, that's Yeah, well, and again, the marketplace is awesome. There's many things out there that you can already make, get that people have built. The tough part is when how to integrate them into your project. So, um, yeah, again, like I said, if I've had the money to not have to work during the day, I would definitely be able to help other people. But since I have to work during the day, there's like a good part of the week that goes to that. Hope you you understand that part. Um, oh, I hate this. I hate this undo history thing that Unreal has. I'm not sure why they clear that out. Yeah, I mean, and there's, like I said, like you, there's a ton of other people with ideas, and like I said, it's hard to find somebody um that would do it. Yeah, and there you go. So you're a student. So you live with your parents, right? You have dinner that gets put on your table. You have all of that. In my case, I have to go to work to get dinner to um and yeah, everybody wants to make it for free. Don't get me wrong, but that's not how the world works, unfortunately. Like you probably don't have a mortgage, you probably don't have a car, you probably don't have bills to pay. You don't pay electricity, right? Uh, but in my case, I do, so that's why I have to have a day job, and that takes time. So yeah, unfortunately, it's really tough. As much as I love helping people, um, I only have so much time during the day. And I usually, whenever people join the stream, I try to, like, and they have questions, I try to show them if I know and if I have an answer to the question. But yeah, I am on the weekends here making my own projects. So that's the thing. I think try and like join like Facebook groups in India that might that would be interested um, in working with you. That's what I would suggest. Okay, well, I am not happy how this turned out for the landscape, unfortunately. Um, on one other hand, I might want to try importing it again, but like this time having everything flatten around it. Not sure if that's gonna help, but we'll give that a try. So I'm gonna try and flatten everything around here best I can. Let me or hide this actor. Let me see where that is. This landscape. Oh, I've actually transitioned this into the main world level. Yeah, and so yeah, that's another thing. Depending on the type of game you want to make, um, like I have a desktop which is 7 or 8 years old, and it sometimes it struggles with this. Depending, yeah, you might also need a powerful laptop or a powerful machine as well. Yeah, and if you don't have enough knowledge on PC, then yeah, it's you have to get those first. And you're in ninth grade. If you're in ninth grade, you have plenty of time ahead of you. But yeah, take some time. It's gonna take a while. This doesn't come easy. As much as people like to think that ChatGPT is gonna just create a game for them, that's probably not gonna happen right away. Yeah, everything, like I said, everything is difficult. That's why a lot of people give up. I'll have to be honest with you. A lot of people give up pretty quickly when it comes to game design because they might hit a wall. Um, so as long as you don't get discouraged by that, then you will be able to go through it. I am wondering why this import kind of blows things up like that. That's a little odd how that's turning out. Oh yeah, yeah, no, and that's fine. It's not it's you're free to ask, but then again, like I said, you want somebody that has the same schedule as you, maybe the same level of knowledge, so you both learn at the same time. That's what I would recommend because if you start doing this with somebody that knows how to do it, they're gonna get frustrated because you don't know how to do it. So what I would recommend is, like I said, jump onto, find somebody in high school. You're ninth grade. You know, there's probably other people in your school that are interested in making games. So I would just start there, get a couple of friends together. You can do like learning sessions in Unreal, and that's how you move along. All right. Well, let's see. Um, I'm not really happy how this import is looking. I wanted to try something though. Well, yeah, I mean, like I said, uh, if you don't have any experience with Unreal, you might have the greatest idea ever, but unfortunately, you're not going to be able to find somebody, even if they have the time. Say in my case, I don't have the time. If they have the time to help you. So, um, so that's why I would say I would first start by learning and getting some friends together and seeing what you can make. And once you're happy with what you created, it's a learning process. That's the thing. And thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. And um, let me share with you a couple of the channels that are really good to start learning. So this is one of them, Ryan Laley. They have like I said, they have these episodes, of doing AI or doing um, um, interactions or animations. They can just look at them and they start from a beginner level and they move on. So there's also this guy. There's also Code Like Me. These are a few channels to get you started. All right. Well, let's try. I'm gonna try and get this um, thing to be a little bit more washed out. And I cannot recall. I think it needs to be a lot more in like the darker area. Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure if he has too many of these series of tutorials. I believe he does as well. So there you go. That's a good place to start, and just to get your feet wet to understand it. And like I said, if you find some friends that are willing to start learning with you, just start together, right? And then you never know. But yeah, hopefully that was helpful for you. All right, let me try and import this again. Um, so, oh, that made it worse. Huh. So it's taken me years. Let me be honest with you. Because again, I'm only doing it, at a sometime less than part-time level. Um, and there's only, like I said, um, it's a hobby at the moment. But yeah, I've been working on this for maybe 5 years or so. Like I said, uh, less than part-time. Hey, Technify, welcome, welcome. I was trying to import some of the landscape data from that existing landscape that I had into um, into this new world here, but it's a little bit kind of not going as well as I was hoping, just because of this import that's a little weird. Um, So I have not taken any courses. It's all self-taught, like I think a lot of people in game development are. Um, it's um, you learn as you go. Because I mean, yeah, well, not gonna say like the majority of people, but because there's people that actually go to school for it, but I didn't. So I just learned it as a hobby. Whoa, that made it even worse. I guess some of it got imported, some of the landscape, but a lot of it is pretty messy. So let's just do the roads. I'm not sure why the import is blowing things out uh, um, so badly. No, I actually do not, because I do not work in the industry, right? So the only people that I know, I just know that they have their own projects, and again, people that are doing this, part-time or in their spare time. Um, so yeah, unfortunately, I don't know anybody um, that is looking to join a team at the moment. But it's something that you can always bring up here on the stream, and I know there's some other people that are you know practicing or learning. So, maybe as part of, creating a community and finding friends, it could start there. Oh yeah, no, that's great. Like if you can make something like Baldur's Gate is at the moment, is that game is a new standard, I guess, for games. I do have an Instagram. I think if you can look up my name. So um, if you look me up, just like literally how my name is said, Andre Genoyu, you should be able to find me on Instagram. All right, so I'm just gonna, you know, um, working around here, kind of moving some of these roads around, and we'll see how things are gonna turn out. All right, well, let's grab the landscape and do some sculpting, and let's kind of sculpt around that. I think flattening the terrain would probably help with adding all these roads. So because they seem to be added on the normal, right? And if they get added on the normal, they're not going to be at that kind of a proper angle, so to speak. For example, let's start here, and I'm just going to add come on, right there, and then another one here, so you can see like I can pull it straight up, and that is very helpful. Like for example, if I place another one down here, I'm thinking that area has some kind of sculpting going on. Let's reset the rotations like that. Yeah, it's let me see. It's in here if I can find it. 1 second. Maybe it's not um maybe I don't come up like that. There we go. It's right here, UD Arts. Um, so I think at the moment I'm all set. It's just because, like I said, my schedule is not always the same, and that's why I've had other people asking me if I'm looking for a teammate, but yeah, the issue is when you have the schedule is not really stable, like it's hard to work with others. I mean, it's things would definitely change if this can turn into um, like making a living from it, right? Like you get to a point where you can live from the sales of the video game. That'd be amazing if that happens. And at that point, I can definitely get people to work with me, because like, you can have a schedule and only be focused on game development. But when you still have a day job and all that kind of stuff, it's tough. But thank you so much for offering. I'll definitely keep you in mind. And like I said, keep on learning the engine because that's essential. If you want to do game development, it doesn't really matter if it's Unreal or Unity or of course, if you're going to use Unreal, you're going to work with Unreal people, with the people that use Unreal, and the same thing with Unity. But once you learn the game console or like the concepts of creating games, I think um, moving from engine to engine is going to be simpler. But yeah, if you start with Unreal, I think that's a great choice. Um, I've started with CryEngine, and not sure if anybody else is familiar with it, but uh, there's a reason why there's only like a handful of people literally that are using it. So, hey, Andre, welcome, welcome. Hey, no worries. Happy to have you. It's um, I've been working on quite a few things, mainly around some of the NPC AI. Not sure if you've seen any of that. Um, Kind of finishing off some of the levels that are I wanted to put in the kind of the pre-alpha build. Um, what I'm doing right now is I was investigating a little bit of changing up the map, not necessarily, not changing the playable area, but changing the because the playable area is still going to be the same size, but changing the map itself so that it gives a little bit of a sense of size. The other one felt like it was a little cramped, a little tight, and I wanted to try out a new map. And I had something that I had for free for years, and it's this one here. It's a much bigger space. I've actually today I've just moved it to World Partition, which actually made it work really, really well. So I'm still investigating some of that. What I wanted to do is I wanted to transfer kind of the same design of the world, starting with the roads and kind of some of the terrain features, transfer them onto this map, and then do a performance comparison and see which one works better. I think from some of my initial work, the bigger map actually works better than that smaller map, just due to how it's set up. But I think in the coming week, I'll know a little bit more once kind of this tedious work of recreating the roads um, is gonna be complete. So yeah, yeah, definitely, we can definitely keep in touch. I can at least point you in the right direction. Uh, so yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much, UD Arts. And like I said, you can message me on Instagram. I can at least, like I said, show you a couple of the developers, the people that do tutorials on YouTube, and they do it great. And I hope to that they will help you out. Oh, Andrew, oh my God, a 4090, that's awesome. You did get it? Nice. A 4090, it's a good one. Hey, bye, UD Arts, and hope to talk to you soon. All right, bye. Why is that thing being placed over there? What in the world is going on with this one? This is just silly. Why would it get placed all the way back there? Doesn't make any sense. Look at that. in the world is happening, Unreal? I know the road tool is still is not yeah, it's I think like I said, the main thing with it, he had some really good sculpting to begin with. I did change the terrain shader to match what I previously had because it was a pretty it was everything was red. So I wanted to change the shader to be, less resource intensive. And but yeah, having this kind of with my original map, it felt like everything is really tight, so like I said, the scaling, like I kept walking around and looking at things, and the scaling felt really off, especially when it came to the edges of the map. That's what the part that I didn't really like, so um, this one seems, a little bit of a better scale for it, like if you're at ground level, it definitely feels like things are farther in the distance, like the mountains feel like a little taller. Um, and that's why I wanted to try this out and see how it works. Performance-wise as well, I think that was one of the main things that I wanted to try out because the original one that I had very few components for the landscape, and this one has 16 times more, even though, well, actually, no, 10, was it by math? Was it around 10 times more? Yeah, components with a map being 16 times bigger. And um, that also helped me out in the regards of the hopefully wishful thinking part two of the game. And um, kind of opening up the rest of the map to the player. But yeah, right now I've been trying uh, to to reproduce some of those road splines. I wish there was a way that you can copy the road splines, and I'm gonna try and ask around, but from my initial tries, there doesn't seem to be a straightforward way to copy road splines. You can copy the you can copy the elevation, um, like um, like when you want to import, you can import the height map. The only problem with that is that what you export and what you import, they look completely different. Uh, but I am not entirely sure if I'm not sure what the height edits versus this one is. Um, yeah, I'm not sure if this part of the import has worked out really well, and what they expect as far as the resolution, or not the resolution, but the kind of the overall, because it gets exported like this, which looks like it should be like that, looks uh, somewhat well, but when you get imported, when you import it, it's really blown out compared to what the uh, export was. So uh, yeah, it's just a little rant, I guess. It's nice to have an import like that, but if it doesn't work as you expected it to, then why bother? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to try and um, kind of import the roads because I'm going to try and use the roads as the main sculpting tool, and then just kind of sculpt the terrain around it. It's kind of a noisy terrain anyway, so it's not like there's too many features in between here. But yeah, with the roads, it's at least that's the plan to get these splines placed. And since they can sculpt the terrain, then I can sculpt the rest of it around that. But yeah, thank you. I am, like I said, I am really happy that I found this, and it's a pretty obsolete package. It's probably on the marketplace. Uh, it wasn't ported to 5, so I had to get it into 4.20 something, and then export it into 5. But yeah, I was mainly interested in the landscape sculpt itself, and then I've applied my own shader for the landscape terrain material. So. And yeah, world partition. It's something that I am really happy how it turned out. Um, the way it works, how easy you can save, how easy you can paint, undoing things. The size, the file size are much smaller once you use the world partition. Performance seems to be better as well. And again, this is just from my discovery today. I'm still going to do some more testing throughout the week, but from what I can tell from today, it it seems to work quite a lot better. And yeah, okay. Well, let's see if I can uh, continue on with this. I still don't get it why when I have this and I try to place the next one. Okay, now it works. That was so stupid why the other one was like placed all the way in the corner of the map somehow. And I'm trying to match, what I've had. It's probably not going to be, uh, to a T, so to speak. But at least I'm trying to kind of get him right around where the existing roads are at, because I don't want to move the other levels too much. And actually, what I'm going to try and do, not sure if that's going to be too tedious. I was actually thinking of doing it from like a top view. Yeah, so there we go. That kind of hugs the previous road quite okay-ish, I would say. Yeah, it's kind of a little tedious at first trying to place all these blinds to to try and match what you had. Well, so I am hoping to get an alpha test soon-ish. Definitely, I'm doing my best to have it out. I was hoping to get it out this summer, um, but I'm hoping to have it out maybe this autumn. It's very hard. Work has been crazy um, for the past kind of few weeks or so. We have this kind of big project going on, and it's kind of taking the will out of me. So there's also that, but yeah, it's um, the work is still in full swing. It's just uh, slower than what I was hoping for, unfortunately. That's the only downside to this. And of course, as I move closer and closer, there's like some optimizations that I'm trying to do, and that is definitely taking a little bit longer than what I was hoping for. But yeah, the project is still going. It's definitely my main priority. Once I'm done with work, uh, this is all in, kind of thing for my time. What is this jumbly mess happening over here? All right, well, so that's sculpting something. You know what? It does, but I'm not sure if it's gonna snap to the surface of this landscape. Not sure if it's gonna snap to the surface of the other one, but that's actually a great point. The biggest issue that I've had with it is the placement of the widget, right? Because it's or like that new spline point is placed at some weird angles from not sure why, but so that's trying to do it, try to do these points like this. Um, will definitely give me an idea of the elevation of where I need to kind of sculpt the terrain to match what was previously there. But let's try to snap the surface. I um, I haven't thought of that, so thank you. Let's go and I'm gonna unhide the terrain and let's see if I can. Let's see, which road do I want to test it on? Let's test it on this one here. So let's place the starting. Whoa, that was weird. Uh, oh my God, this is so buggy sometimes I can't even describe it. All right, so let's try like this. So I'm gonna place another one here. Oh, and actually I'm not in the right landscape, my bad. Guess that's why it was acting so funky. All right, so let's see, we have this point. Is this, oh, you're right. Oh, that's awesome, Anji. Thank you so much for the suggestion, dude. Um, I'm hoping the only thing with this is let's try and place this kind of like right alongside. Oops, no, didn't want to delete it. I want to press end. So I'm gonna try and do like so, but then that's the thing. You have to like bring it up and yeah. So see, it gets placed on the surface, which is great. Um, The only trouble is that I still have to adjust it like that, but I think having it, using um, the snap to surface, I think it's definitely helpful. I appreciate that. One more reason why streaming is helpful. All right, let's try and kind of align this like that. Yeah, see, this is the thing I don't get. Why is it placed at this weird angle? Um, is it auto rotate control point? Let's see. Maybe I haven't tried checking this off. Let's try that out. All right, so this one, let's try and level them out somehow. Let's use the next point. Yeah, that I guess this one doesn't do anything. That's good to know. They're still, you know, being placed weirdly. But at least with and, it does snap it to the surface. And then, yeah, you still have to adjust it, but oh my God, this was definitely a thing that was not, there was some lacking and when they did this. All right, there we go. Yeah, definitely, definitely. It is what it is, I'm happy with it that it even does this. But I'm gonna try, I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but let's try and do it from this angle. Might be a little tedious. Not sure. Mm, yeah, I can't realize what's um what do you mean hotkey? I mean hotkey to enable what? To enable like the top view or side views? Um, do you mean like getting into this view? Like from here? Like Alt J or uh Alt G is perspective. Was that the one they were referring to? Oh, snap to surface. It's actually end. So like you were saying, um, so this one, it's snapped. It definitely it places it on the landscape that you have selected. But then in order to snap it to the nearest surface, I can bring it up here and kind of position it. So for example, I wanted to position it here. And if I lift it up, I'm moving a little too quick here. So if I lift this up and I press end, it snaps to the nearest surface, which is great. And that's why I'm really appreciative of that suggestion. I wish it would snap when you place it on the surface, or like when you actually place that spline point. Um, because like, I get it. It's placed on the landscape, and uh, yeah. So like you were saying, a combination between like the perspective view and where it thinks is gonna place it, and yeah, things are gonna look weird. So for example, the one thing I don't get is if it places the point onto the surface, it completely this local versus world transform, it's completely botched, I think with this point. Not sure why, but yeah, anyways. So at least getting it to about where I wanted to have it, and then hitting end, it places it on the surface. So so far for this one, let's select the control points. I'm going to do a 5,000 fall off and deform all splines. So that way we have a road going through here on our new landscape. And of course, sometimes this crap happens, which I dare anybody to explain me why that does, but um, there's definitely some mysteries that are not explained. Oh yeah. Oh, that's actually huh. Let's see if this one, I know this works for when you drag objects into the world, but does it work on splines, like landscape splines? I don't think it really does. Yeah, so it's actors will snap to surfaces, but I'm not sure if it's like it would have been nice, right? It would have been something really cool. Um, I highly doubt there's a lot of people that are doing what I'm doing right now, but trying to copy an existing positioning of a landscape spline. So not sure how much Epic was like, oh yeah, there's a lot of use into something like this. That actually, I think that might be closer to the terrain surface that it snapped so closely to it. Oh wow, what in the world? There's some kind of weird thing happening here. I'm not sure where some of these other ones are coming from. And this is kind of the frustration that I have sometimes with the spline tool, is that there's like some of these getting just placed at for no particular reason at all. And yeah, so see that's it's kind of messed up. Let's see what happens um, when I try to sculpt again. Yeah, as I was thinking, there's all these messy landscape splines that came from literally who knows where. Exactly, all roads lead to Rome. I have no idea where these things have come from. Like literally, I wasn't like clicking like crazy randomly around the map. And um, let me see. So how does this end up over there? What did this go under the rocks exactly? How did that end up all the way back here? Yeah, see like um man, the road planning behind this game is is something else. Uh that's kind of one of the uh frustrating parts of level design. What can I say? But let's see if we can clean some of this up. I'm gonna try and hide this map and yeah, so see this is how did this get placed over here that's connected to these? That's kind of beyond me. And the other weird part about it is that I'm willing to bet there's no there's no control point around here. Let's see, is there one? Oh, I guess there is one. And once you delete that control point, everything is cleaned up. So yeah, that stuff is just um I have no idea. Let's see if I can undo to the point of where the terrain sculpting was happening to at least remove some of this mess that this issue created. I'm not sure how far can still go back into this because this history is also another issue with the engine. All right, well, let's try and, maybe it's going to be like a happy accident where all this road sculpting uh, might have made it look a little bit better. Not sure. But let's see where this one ends. Somewhere under the map, apparently. Yeah, all roads lead to this point here, which stupidly I'm not entirely sure how it got created. So let's delete that and let's try and sculpt this thing again. Luckily, I still have the other ones in place. And, it's not terrible like this little accident. There's this road going down here, which links into the one going to the facility. The one going up to here is still there, and the one going to the kind of the exit of the map over through that tunnel, um, and towards the other end of the map. So that one's in place. All right. Um, that's good. Let's try and unhide this. So not too much destruction. It's fine. Let's link this up into this one down here. And what I'll try and do for the rest of the stream, kind of since I've created this area in the middle, I'm going to try and recreate some of the, at least some of the terrain painting and um, get in the procedural trees to see how those will populate over here. Because I wanted to practice a little bit with the terrain painting where I'm using like a stamp um, to paint just certain spots where the trees would be placed. So let me link this up here into this section. Excuse me. All right, so hopefully um, there's not going to be, besides kind of the wild placement of these, hopefully there's not going to be any other um, terribly looking spider webs. There we go. All right, so let's kind of sculpt again for all splines. All right, that works pretty decently, and we can clean that up. Yeah, let's go ahead. I'm gonna hide this one, and let's try and soften this map out. Do a little bit of sculpting. Actually, let's do flattening. So I'm gonna flatten this around here like that. All right, and no, I want it to be in here, and then let's resculpt it based on the splines. There we go. That's pretty decent. I'm gonna try and do a little bit of flattening to this point where the road is to give a little bit of an angle. Maybe make this smaller. Try to add a little bit of different elevations around here. And let's try and see if we can, oops, that's a little too much. Try to create a little bit of noise. All right, just to have that area in the middle. All right, so yeah, let's this is what I was trying to do. So the trees, the procedural trees that I have, they spawn only on the mulch layer. And I wanted to paint this using like just a regular texture. So this has to be under here. As you can see, it's pretty faint to tell where it is, but once I stamp it, it stamps down um, the little area where the mulch would be. So that kind of like right there. Rotate this around a little bit. Place some more around here, and just kind of playing with it a little bit at the moment. Don't have anything. Maybe along this ridge. That looks like a ridge over there. Um, let's see, there's like another ridge, at least what seems to be a ridge around here. I wish there was like I think there might be a shortcut for this texture rotation. I'm not entirely sure. Let's see what the auto rotate does. based on what is it rotating like that? I guess it's a randomized type of thing, so could be interesting. There we go. All right, well, I have this painted. I still need to maybe adjust some of this far tiling just so that it kind of matches what the mountains have and some of this moss surface. But now I want to add, since this is in a in this world partition level, I want to. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly save it because you never know with my computer. Um, so I wanted to bring in the um, the foliage and see how that spawns. Oh, so Andre, does shadow fall down from corresponding cloud? No, it doesn't. It's just a material function for the directional light. So the directional light has um, an option where you can set well a cloud simulation type of thing. But yeah, no, it's not from the sky. All right. Well, let's add that in. So as I was saying, um, let me kind of hide some of these. Scatter decals. I might have to remove some of these because it looks like for some of the yeah, it kind of made a little bit of a mess in here when I kind of when you import a level instance into the world partition. Excuse me. So when you import a level instance into the world partition, it um, so you have the level instance and you import the level into it. It's pretty locked into that level. But what I did with the map itself, I actually kind of broken it apart and all those elements inside of it went into the world partition. And this kind of created a little bit of a mess at the moment, which I'll fix offline. But yeah, let's add a world partition, or sorry, a level instance in here. And to this one, I'm gonna try and get um, the the level, which I hope I had them on a separate level. I couldn't remember if I broke them up into pieces. Foliage volumes level. Oh, perfect. So Andre, is it possible to make it work like in real life? I, you know what? I guess you could. Um, if you were to have like I'm not sure if for starters, I'm not sure if volumetric. I think volumetric clouds can cast shadows, but that's a performance impact. I could see this if you were to kind of mimic like the skybox, where there'd be like some um, um, moving clouds. Like say, you know, you have like an alpha plane with clouds that they kind of move across the sky and they cast shadows. So that could definitely, I think that could be done that way. Okay, so this one, foliage volume, there it is. So I have all the foliage volumes in here. And what I wanted to do with this is actually set it at 0, 0, 0, so that it kind of mimics what we had in the original map. Yeah, so no easy in-box way that I know of. I think the easiest one is just faking it. You know, a lot of stuff in game development is like just fake it with this material. So yeah, you can see there's like some you know, air quotes, shadows moving across the terrain. And they're actually, to some extent, they're actually shadows, right? It just blocks that the light from the directional light going that way. Okay, so I was saying, right click on this level, edit, and now what I hope that I will be able to do is pick up the tree's foliage and let's see, where is it? No, simulate. I guess you can't. Let's see, can I actually move to um, that's interesting. So I think what might need to happen with this is in the level, um, let's commit it first. I believe you have to kind of commit the changes to this level instance and then right click level and break level instance. And that brings it into this into the main world. So let's try and select that trees, or I think it's just tree. There's this one. So I hope now we have a resimulate option. And why not? That's interesting. It's not in that separate level anymore. Let's turn off surface snapping. But it still doesn't, that's interesting. Let's do a procedural foliage volume. Let's add this in here. And let's do trees. Let's try and select the trees from hey 3Die, bonjour, bonjour, or bonsoir in your case. Um, yeah, thank you so much for stopping by. We were just trying to do, well, actually, let's see, where is it? Um, Trying to simulate some, add some trees. It's coming towards the end of the stream, and I was trying to see to figure out why covers an unloaded area. Oh, let me see. Is it because I'm hiding this one? Doesn't seem to be the issue. Okay, so I guess this is something that I need to do um, to figure out what this unloaded area, what area is the unloaded area in here, right? Not entirely sure. Is it? It's not the facility. I don't think. Oh, could it be? Um, let's try and remove some of these from here, just out of curiosity. Hey, Indy Bitsy. I think you were going to ask a question or no? And let's also remove this one. Try this one again. This is also something. Oh, actually, what it's. Oh, I just needed to load the required areas. Okay, well, that could be useful. Let's try and resimulate. My height map isn't working like it should. There's no collision. Huh. Um, are you sure you're not um, what was I gonna say? You're not it's not a setting in the player character? Yeah, it's also like 3 is saying if it's landscape or if it's like a actual mesh, because you can generate a mesh from the landscape or turn it into a mesh. My other thought would be if it's a player thing, like a player collision. Like if the player is set to ignore the landscape collision, that could be something else. But I haven't run into that issue before, like where the landscape is not um, is not does not have collisions. Okay, yeah. So the it looks like it worked out pretty well. Let me actually run it one more time because I think it tried to resimulate it onto the other landscape. Let me see if it's gonna do the same or if it's gonna uh, even though it's hidden. Let's see. Okay, I think it's with that thing being hidden. Let's try and I'm gonna unhide it. And I'm gonna try, let's see, what do we want to do here? How do we want to handle this one? Because it's still basically there when it tries to simulate it. Maybe what? That's not the right selection. Maybe if I drag this down to here, like kind of below that foliage volume, if we'll be able to trick this. Let's see, did that work? Oh yeah, I'm thinking it did. Yeah, so there you go. Um, the trees are only spawned in that area where the mulch is at, which is what I was hoping for. And yeah, the main thing is, um, so this is how it looks now with this kind of bigger, um, bigger area around you, and these kind of more imposing, not necessarily more imposing, but something that looks like far in the distance. Before it looked like they're kind of close. So let me bring that up. I'll bring up that terrain and see how it kind of looked before. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to, if we're going to be able to tell too much of a difference. Oops, that's too much, too much. Yeah, kind of to about there. Right, so it's kind of like this now, but before it was like that. Kind of without this. So I think, having it like this definitely gives a better sense of scale and kind of distance. There's that stuff that's all the way over there. I might not be able to reach it, um, but I think it definitely gives a better sense of scale with this one, like so. Hey, Helion, welcome, welcome. So sorry that you kind of got to the end of the stream, but hello either way, and welcome to the stream. So yeah, I think I think this one definitely works better. Um, that it works better now, with these all these far away mountains being all the way back there. Um, so yeah, offline, what I'm going to do is I will go about, kind of resculpting the map. It shouldn't take too long. It's just a little tedious work. And um, I wish, like I said, I wish there was a way to properly import that height map and not just kind of blow it out like that. Um, and you know what? Let me try one last thing because I was playing around, now that I'm just thinking about this, I was playing around with the levels, but I think what I should be playing with is the brightness and contrast. So if I was to bring the brightness down, what I'm hoping is when I import this, um, that it's it's not going to blow it up as much as it did. So, one last thing to try before the end of the stream is again something that I've literally tried just today is in my main landscape, I think it's called landscape 1. Oh yeah, I mean, I am not entirely sure what I've saved it as, probably less, but I think the main issue was that it came in pretty blown out as the import went. All right, so let me get around here, and hopefully it seems to be in about the right place. Can I tell a little bit better if I zoom out? Kind of to about there. There we go. Let's try this again. Oh hey, oh hey, it's actually much better. I think that was worth a shot. I think it's much better if not almost the same, to be honest. Let's try and hide this other landscape because actually it's this. I mean it's a little higher, but this is where it's at. Oh yeah, there it is. Okay. So that's going to make things a lot easier, I think, when it comes to doing the roads and pretty much everything else. Yeah, so check that out. It's actually where it's supposed to be. So this is the original and this is the transferred one. So it almost matches perfectly. Technify, do you manual landscape everything? I try to like whatever I can import, paint with stamps, import, like I said, import height maps like what I just did. And of course, there's going to be issues like some of these little thing poking through, but that's not too big of a deal. Um, but now at least this one is as as the other one was. And of course, there's going to be some of these edges that I need to kind of smooth out into the side of the mountain here. Uh, but of course, this is not necessarily the final resting place. It's just probably going to be more towards this end. Um, so you can get collision to work on the landscape? Is that it, Technify? Um, that that is actually kind of odd because So are you having kind of the same issue that Indie Bitsy was having with um, the character does not collide with the terrain properly? Like I said, I've never run into that problem. Um, I know there are like I believe the landscape itself has some collision settings down here, you know, like for collision presets, but by default they should be set to block all. Oh, okay, okay, gotcha. Um, so this one should be set to block all. Like I said, I'm kind of wondering if it's your character that 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 might not have the collisions working out properly. You know, like your character not um maybe it says to ignore landscape, something like that. Yeah, so there we go. From all the way back here, huh, I think the scale definitely looks better now with the way this is set up. Um, which I think works out pretty well. Let's try and paint, you know, I still have a couple of minutes. Let's try and paint a little bit more of, oh, thank you, 3 Die. Let's try and paint a little more of the landscape just to, you know, stamp it some more and get some more trees happening around here. Um, of course, some of these paths that you see kind of going here and there. One thing that I wanted to try since, you know, there's this option to paint with a stamp. Um, this is kind of just an alpha, and you can select the texture channel. And what I was thinking about is I have quite a few kind of grunge maps or like just you know just some like masks. I think I labeled it like mask. Let's do I think this is a texture what it should be. Uh, let's see, it's still searching. Come on, you can do it. But what I was looking for is more of a kind of you know, a little bit of a noisier texture like this. Let's just change this to say texturous and grab one of these, like for example this one. Let's try this one here to see how this would stamp out. So green is that, blue is that. Let's try with the blue. We'll see how this is gonna look. And let's try 20,000, make it kind of bigger. Where do I want to place this? And I wanted to place to paint mulch, and you can see there's like the area that the mulch is going to come in. Let's try and place one around here, maybe one around here, something around there. Okay, and the path is the one that is also going to, let's call it, cut through the grass. You know, it's going to just remove some of the grass layers. And for this one, I wanted to have something that's a little bit more kind of streaky, you know, not spotty like this. Let's see if, not sure if any of these would do something for us. Yeah, I don't think that one is working out so well. Uh, somewhat. Come on. moving a little too quick. But yeah, see, there's like spots here and there where there's no vegetation. That's kind of what I was looking for as well. Um, and let's regenerate the trees. Which one is it? Tree foliage. There we go. Hey, thank you so much for stopping by, Andre. Like I said, probably this is going to be one of the last clicks for the stream to see how these trees are going to get added in after the new painting. Oh, hail McKees. Hey, welcome, welcome. Uh, there we go. Nice. Okay, so we have some groups. Oh, and completely forgot. It's still that landscape is still there, so it's probably above landscape. This one, even if it's hidden, it's still slightly above the rest, so it's gonna paint on that first. So let me move that out of the way and then simulate again. Hey, Technify, what do you think the problem was? All right, so there we go. We have all these trees painted on different locations where, like I said, the mulch is at. And you know, we have some spaces around here where there's no vegetation, just kind of this. I could have changed it to be like a rocky surface, which I'm probably gonna do. But hey, 3Die, thank you so much, and I'll see you next week. Hopefully, I'll have a lot more things to show, and this area kind of also ready to retest the navigation and going around. Um, So I think the collision stays where it is when I move the landscape. Why do you move the landscape? Or not sure? Okay, so there we go. We have some pretty nice background mountains going on. And, you know, all the way to the sides. There's probably going to be a little bit more forest that needs to be added around here. But there's some variation in like the tree sizes and heights. That's looking pretty good. There's some like denser little sections around here. And the other thing that I wanted to do is um, some of the lighting. I wanted to take a look at, so let me hide that and actually place one of the older things that I had. Sky. There we go. Let me adjust this a little bit. Kind of like that, maybe even a little more. There we go. The player start is at the top and the landscape is way down. Huh. Um, I'm not entirely sure I understand what you mean. But if you want to show it to me, like I said, I'm just about um to complete the stream. So if you wanna catch up on Discord, you can kind of send me a screenshot or a video, and I can take a quick look at it if you want to. So let me know. Okay, perfect. Well, last thing that I wanted to try out is, you know, some of these kind of times of day that I've set up around here just to see how things look. It's a little blown out. I'm not entirely sure why that's so. Um, the night looks kind of okay-ish. But daylight is kind of strong. I'm not sure why. Um, Daylight, let me see what the setting is. Directional light color. Daytime. Okay, that's a little bit more palatable. That that sun seemed like too intense. All right, yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. There's some of the distant fog going on. See if we kind of rotate this around. And we were gonna try some sunset as well to see how that would look. A little bit too much intensity on the directional light. But yeah, okay, that works. I still like the daylight better. Okay, well, I think that's gonna be it for this week set of streams. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by, and I hope you have a great week. And I will see you next weekend. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.